Welcome back to the Aesthetic Business Masters podcast, where we bring you the stories, strategies, and innovations shaping the future of aesthetics, skin health, and business success. Today's guest is someone who has built a reputation for delivering transformational skin outcomes while staying firmly grounded in education, integrity, and evidence-based treatments. Joining us is Summer, founder of Advanced Skin by Summer in Mornington, Victoria. Summer has become known for her expertise in advanced skin treatments, scar revision, skin rejuvenation, and regenerative therapies. As a pro-cell therapies specialist and global ambassador for Adipo, she's passionate about helping clinics achieve long-term health through treatments that work with the body's natural healing processes. In this episode, we'll explore Summer's journey into the aesthetics industry, the growth of her business, why she chose to specialise in regenerative treatment, and how ProCell has become a game-changing part of her clinic offering. Before we dive in, let's learn a little bit more about Summer. Summer is the founder and director of Advanced Skin by Summer, a leading skin clinic in Mornington, Victoria. With a strong focus on skin health, scar revision, collagen stimulation, and regenerative aesthetics, Summer has built a loyal client base through her commitment to personalised treatment plans and exceptional client outcomes. Known for her expertise in pro-cell microchanneling and advanced skin therapies, Summer is passionate about helping clients restore confidence through science-backed treatments that support the body's natural repair mechanisms. As a global ambassador for Adipo and a recognised educator within the skin industry, she continues to advocate for innovation, education, and results-driven skin treatments that create lasting change. Summer, thank you so much for joining me today.
You're very welcome. Nice to meet you properly.
Yes, lovely to put your face to the name.
Yes.
And Summer, to start off, it would be amazing. I've obviously read your bio and introduced your bio, but it would be great if you could tell us your journey into the aesthetic industry and what sparked your passion for skin health.
Yeah, I had a change of career in my mid-20s. I was actually working for Macquarie Bank at the time, and it was during the big grand financial crash that my whole division was withdrawn from the market, and we're given career guidance counsellors. And I thought, I really don't enjoy what I'm doing, and I've always had an interest in beauty and skin. So I went back and studied as an adult in my mid-20s. And the first place that I studied was at Ella Baché. So I did beauty therapy at Ella Baché. I later went on to do laser science at the Australian Institute of Laser Therapy and dermal science at Big Uni. But I was actually plucked straight from Ella Baché by a wonderful lady and thrown straight into the deep end into clinics working with devices and lasers and things which were really popular back then. This was before 2010. So microdermabrasion, IPL, even tattoo removal, all those kinds of things, which was just fascinating to me. So that was how it started off, and the obsession with skin grows and keeps on growing.
That's fantastic. And a lot of people are attracted to the industry and the clinical side. However, transitioning into being a business owner and running a successful business is very difficult because it's not a skill set that comes naturally to most or that's taught in school.
Yeah. No, particularly people who have that, that beautiful interest in the aesthetics industry. We don't have business admin skills as well to go along with that. So that is a challenge. But I did decide to start my own business. It was during COVID that the idea came to me, and I discussed it with friends, and everybody was behind me. And as soon as I advertised, I already had a big following on Instagram. So I was pretty full of clients as soon as I went out on my own. And it's just grown from there.
And goodness me, it must have been so daunting because you're from Mornington in Victoria, and Victoria really suffered the most during
Yeah,
COVID.
we did. Yeah. Yeah. So coming out of, I don't even like to use the word lockdown now. It's like an anti-word. But yeah, coming out of that lockdown, and people were so keen to get back into clinics and have their face treated. Yeah, and at the time, I was specializing in what I thought was such a a universal treatment with microneedling. So that's pretty much what I opened my books doing was your hydration treatments, microneedling, peels, and even mesotherapy needling. So those kind of biostimulating treatments and collagen induction treatments, which worked really well up until I was introduced to ProCell, which was just the next step up from microneedling for me.
And with these advanced treatments, sometimes they're not the easiest content for Instagram. How do
Mhm.
you navigate the marketing, client retention?
Um, I've always had a really big focus on education, and rather than using big words that people don't understand, or just showing before and afters, I've always really focused on education and transparency, so that my clients and anybody watching has a fair understanding of how the treatment works, and they're not shocked when they have the treatment or with their downtime. I really like people to understand and be really comfortable with the treatments that I'm doing and just have that honesty and creating that trust.
You've done a phenomenal job positioning yourself as someone who is an expert in skin health as
Mhm.
opposed to beauty.
Yeah. Oh God, I mean, hasn't always been the case. I think, our industry's changed so much. Even, back in the 2010s, I remember that in my experience, personally, and other clinics that I was looking at, we were all focused on the quick fix and getting that instant glow, whether that meant that it was an aggressive laser session or an aggressive peel. We were all, oh my God, look at that frosting on the skin. Look at that shedding. Look how much she peeled. And it was all focused on that surface renewal and not really at all even thinking about the long-term inflammation in the skin or the skin barrier. And I think now, although we're still using lasers, like yourself has mentioned to me this morning, and we're still using peels, they are great. And I think they're just being more incorporated into long-term treatment plans for people so that we're not constantly causing that chronic inflammation to the skin. And I think the focus now is on keeping inflammation low, which we didn't so much realize 15 years ago, just how bad, that long-term inflammation is for the skin. It's the root of all evil with the skin and aging and all skin conditions. So now the focus is on skin barrier health. Microbiome is a huge thing at the moment. Understanding the lipid balance, and keeping the skin barrier strong, and treatments that aren't causing that long-term kind of inflammation in the skin. So you're giving your skin a better chance of not only creating collagen but also creating elastin, which is quite tricky to do.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the change in education and knowledge of clinicians
Mhm.
and around creating that inflammation. What about clients? Have you seen a change or noticed a change in your clients today compared to 5 or 10 years ago?
Yeah, they're not chasing so much the acids in skincare like your glycolic, AHAs, all about stripping the skin barrier to get that smoothness and that glow. People are seemingly more focused on things like ceramides, a quality hyaluronic acid, and even I dare say leaning more away from your strong retinoids and tretinoin now, and just focusing more on calming and healing ingredients. So yeah, I have, and people are doing their research now. Everybody that walks in the door, they've asked AI 20 questions before they've come and seen me. So people are really doing their research now.
Absolutely. And then I find some of the younger generation know everything from TikTok.
Yes, which can be not a great thing sometimes. Have seen a
Abs-
few traumatized skins from TikTok fads.
Oh gosh,
There
absolutely.
was a Vaseline one last year. I don't know if you heard of that one.
Yes, I did see that.
Oh dear. Yeah. So maybe don't get advice from TikTok. But AI seems to be pretty good if you're asking the right questions.
Yes, yeah, very true. And what excites you most about regenerative aesthetics and where the future is heading?
Uh, well, it's exciting because it's constantly evolving. The more that we learn, and I love with regenerative aesthetics that it's a you're giving the skin a chance to heal itself naturally and work with its own biology rather than against it, and treatments that aren't so harsh and or creating um, such a strong wound healing response that it's putting the client out for a week or two. Um, so they're more enjoyable treatments for people, and they also the clients are all also getting long term benefits, not just a short term collagen boost, but the skin is actually beginning to function better. So it slows down the aging process, and they just look younger. So it is regenerative aesthetics is the future at this stage until something else comes along.
And you mentioned you've used lots of devices for all different conditions and treatments like tattoo removal. Summer, what was it about ProCell microchanneling that created some curiosity for you?
Yeah, so it just happened by chance that I met Charles from ProCell, and he asked to give me a demonstration. And at the time, I had been specializing in microneedling for a number of years. So I was very interested in this, and he had also mentioned stem cell regeneration. So you've got a new form of microneedling with stem cell activation, and those two things just really piqued my interest. So at that stage, the very first formula with ProCell was derived from human bone marrow. Around, I think it was in about April last year that the ingredients were then advanced, that they are fully recombinant now, so completely lab made, and they have made them more pure and potent and added in the DNA repair enzymes, which is another incredible thing about them now. But initially, it was the new form of microneedling because everyone's doing microneedling, so it's good to have something that's even better, but along the same pathway of regenerating and working with the skin, and then also that stem cell activation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And is ProCell something that all of your clients are having, or is there a certain
The
ideal
majority,
client?
majority of people that come through my doors do ProCell, and that is because it is a treatment that is suited to almost everybody. Um, there's skins that I can treat with ProCell microchanneling that I would never have been able to with microneedling, such as overactive acne and even rosacea. Because the treatment is so healing, there is far less unnecessary inflammation caused to the skin when compared with microneedling. And the ingredients like your growth factors and cytokines go into the skin to start repairing damage and reducing that inflammation immediately as soon as that client walks out the door. So the healing and recovery compared to a microneedling treatment is far shorter. And you're also giving the skin more of a chance to create the correct type of collagen and even elastin when you don't have that longer term inflammation present.
Wow. And for those who don't know what ProCell is, what the difference is
Yeah.
between ProCell and traditional
Microneedling.
microneedling, can you explain to us what that is?
Yeah, so there's two things. So first of all, the ProCell device itself, it's don't have one here with me, but it's like a little gun. And the head of that gun is like a stamp. So you attach a new tip for each client. Those tips can be anywhere from 0.115, which is your nano length, right up to 1.5 millimeters. So you attach that tip to the gun, and that tip actually stamps the skin and penetrates the skin, causing really clean, controlled micro injuries to the skin. And by stamping and not rolling across the skin like you would with a traditional microneedling, you're not getting any of that superficial tearing of the skin. So there's that component. So one face and neck treatment, on average, you'll get about 2 million microchannels created. And after the treatment, the skin is actually left looking really healthily red and glowy, not traumatized. So it even looks better immediately. The downtime is generally anywhere from 6 hours to 24 hours of redness. Most clients have report that they have no redness the next day. Might just feel a little bit tingly in comparison to microneedling, where, I would hate the downtime personally. You'd get that tightness, that redness, the skin shedding even around day 3 or 4. So you just don't get that with pro-cell microchanneling. The second part of it is the vial of ingredients, which I refer to as the fountain of youth, which get driven into the skin with the stamping technique. So in that vial, the active ingredients are growth factors, so your fully lab-made growth factors, cytokines, so it just floods the skin with those anti-inflammatory cytokines, and also your DNA repair enzymes, which is the most recent addition, which really sets it apart.
And do those ingredients only get put on during the treatment, or do they get put on again after, or it's more than
Yep.
enough?
So then there's, I guess there's a third part to FROSA, which is the home care. So the step 1 and step 2 serums. So ideally, your client will buy the step 1 and 2 serums to use at home, which are particularly made for post-procedure skin and as an everyday skin routine. So it's really easy, just 2 steps. So in your first step, you've got your growth factors, cytokines, you have niacinamide to help with any kind of pigmentation, also soothing. You've got carnosine, which is great for your anti-glycation end products. And what else have we got in there? And loads of peptides. So it's all about cellular renewal with a step 1. And then you lock that in with a step 2 serum, which has got your growth factors again, cytokines, and your DNA repair enzymes, along with vitamin C and A. So it's a complete skincare system in 2 steps.
Amazing. Wow. I desperately want to have a treatment now.
Yeah, it's very addictive.
And have you noticed any results from your clients that you've thought, oh, okay, wow, that's better than what you expected?
Yeah, I have to say, particularly with anybody with that sun damage or oxidative stress, which you get from living in a city with pollution, or even from a stressful lifestyle. So any of those really stressed skins, they just heal so much faster than with any other treatment that I've seen before. Anywhere that there's kind of like inflammation present in the skin. So where I've got an acne client, their skin will literally heal within a week. I've got so many cases and photos of skin healing within a week. What was the other one? Scarring it is the best treatment I've ever used for scarring. After one session, I usually use just a 1 millimeter tip for scarring. I will see them 4 or 6 weeks later, and there has been such a huge improvement on, really deep pitted scarring, just evening out that skin surface. It's just incredible. Yeah, compared to what you would normally need, maybe 4 to 6 treatments with microneedling, you're getting in half of that with pro-cell microchanneling.
Oh, wow. And you mentioned consumables before, and I'm sure having used lots of different lasers, you're very aware that some lasers out there carry some very heavy consumables and lock you
Oh,
out of
yeah.
your device entirely.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
with,
No. So
oh,
with ProCell, you've just got the treatment vials themselves and the tips that you pop on the end of the device.
and from a business perspective, how has ProCell compared to some of the other uh, bigger laser devices?
It has been the best result for my business. It is, I now specialize in ProCell. That is, I've got for that and one other treatment, but ProCell is my main treatment that, like I said, that every client that walks in the door can benefit from. Um, so it's taken my business from, doing some microneedling and facials here and there to I'm now a ProCell clinic because my books are full of ProCell all of the time. I get
Goodness
times where I'm
me.
actually booked out for 3 months in advance. So on average, I would do 15 to 20 ProCell treatments a week, and I'm a working mum, so I only work school hours.
Wow. So it's really helped attract new clients?
Yes, yes, definitely. The word of mouth with ProCell is huge because people see the results and tell their friends, and there's none of that nasty downtime. So it's a pretty straightforward, no-brainer treatment that works
How
that people
phenomenal.
love.
And how often do you have the treatment? How has it returned from a client retention perspective?
Yep. So I generally with a younger client, so maybe somebody under 40 with mild skin concerns, I usually just get them onto a package of three. And if their skin is healthy and responding well and they just need that maintenance, then I say just come back maybe once every 3 months or just do a course of three every year. That's going to help prevent, the unwanted aging process and keep your skin really healthy. Use the serums at home. If you're an older person or you've got more damage in the skin, you might need that initial course of 6 treatments and then come back once every 3 months for a maintenance treatment. I do, however, have quite a few clients who just love ProCell and will just come back regularly every 6 weeks. There's no harm to the
Absolutely.
skin in doing that.
Yeah. And I'm sure you make it a very comfortable treatment.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is very comfortable. Anything greater than 0.5 millimeter, I do pop on a light numbing cream just to take that edge off. But comparing to old fashioned microneedling, it is a far more comfortable treatment. Yes.
And clinic owners are always evaluating new treatments, new products, new
Mhm.
skincare ranges. I'm sure you're constantly getting reps coming in from all sorts of companies. Looking back from when you first met Charles and were introduced to ProCell, what would you tell clinic owners considering ProCell as from a return on investment?
Uh, I couldn't tell you any figures. I'm not a figures person, but return on investment, the outlay is minute compared to what I have made over the last couple of years since I've had ProCell. It's been an incredible part of my business that just it's now my everyday income. Um, if you're a clinic who does do a lot of microneedling, and you love that collagen induction and that skin regeneration, then definitely consider ProCell because it's absolutely a step up from microneedling.
Would you say, is it safe to say it's your hero treatment?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, yep. People love it.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
And without naming, obviously, any clients, are there any particular memorable stories of clients that you've had who maybe had never had a treatment before or had a phenomenal result that would be a pro-cell success story?
I've got many ProCell success stories. Um, uh, it's honestly hard to pick just one. Yeah, I mean, most people who, there's going to be a bigger contrast, obviously, with a skin that walks in who's very sun damaged or they haven't taken care of their skin and they do a course of ProCell and have an incredible result compared to somebody who's got great skin and just wants it for skin maintenance. and if you look at my page, I do put those big contrast pictures of before and afters on my page. So I've got many, many clients who have had amazing results. Um, One thing I will say is that people who haven't had ProCell before will be a little bit nervous, being that it's a new treatment. But by the time that I do a little test on the face, they're like, "Oh, is that all it is?" So, and then away they go.
You have absolutely incredible skin. Do you
ProCell.
use Procel?
I do, absolutely. Yeah, I maintain my skin probably once every 3 months with a ProCell treatment, which I do myself. I don't even need to go deeper than a 0.5 millimeter. That's another thing I think with the tips and the stamping technique. You actually are getting a much more true depth with those needles. So a 0.5 with a ProCell tip going straight directly into the skin is is actually a truer depth than, say, a microneedling tip at 0.5, which is kind of rolling across the skin. So I think you even get a better outcome of the micro wounds with that vertical stamping. So yeah, just doing 0.5 millimeters once every 3 months keeps my skin really young and smooth and just functioning really well, like a young, healthy skin. And I do use those ProCell Step 1 and 2 serums every single day. Yeah, that's definitely changed my skin. I used to have a lot more redness in the skin. Um, it was just looking aged. Microneedling wasn't really doing it for me, I have to say, but it's definitely changed a lot since I've been doing ProSol.
Well, your skin looks absolutely stunning, and you have built an incredible clinic and personal brand.
Thank you.
What would you say has been the biggest challenge and I guess contributor?
Hmm. Um, Biggest challenge. I haven't really had too many challenges. It's been quite I think in the beginning though it was more challenging to keep it busy. Um but no, ever since I've had ProCell, honestly, I haven't, after the initial 6 months of getting people on board and trialing the treatment and getting the name out there, now it's like I said, my books are full sometimes 3 months in advance with ProCell treatments. Um, so that's I haven't had massive challenges, which is great.
It's fantastic. It's your positive attitude.
And working from home is also a positive, having a young family. Yeah. Maybe that's the challenge, working from home. There we go. It can be a good thing and also a challenging thing sometimes.
Absolutely. And a lot of clinic owners don't have a personal brand like you do. How has that benefited you and helped you differentiate yourself in a very competitive market?
I think when people are just dealing with you, and maybe not being handed around different staff members, they do build that trust. So that's a definite positive. Um, I personally know all of my clients' skins and stories. That's a real positive is just having people trust you as the brand. And it might be more of a challenge where a clinic has several staff working for them. But hopefully they've got their clients and the clients are the same person every time as well. So they're still building that trust there.
Absolutely. And you mentioned earlier education and how that's a foundation of everything you do, constantly educating your clients
Mhm.
and yourself. How important do you believe it is for practitioners to continue learning and evolving?
Oh, it's so important. And I think that's one thing I didn't do when I worked for other people. I don't think I had as much drive to continue researching and learning because, you'd go to work and you'd have your day of clients and you do your job and go home. Whereas when you're running your own business, I've got that desire to stay ahead and be the best and offer my clients the best. So if I'm not working, I'm researching something. Definitely. Um, yeah, and I've learned a lot more in the past few years having my own business and particularly being with ProCell. and researching, I've learned a hell of a lot. Also branching off into the hair restoration, which ProSol does brilliantly. So, studying the hair is another new thing that I've learned recently.
Oh gosh, hair loss is a whole nother
Yeah,
rabbit hole, isn't it? And it's
yeah. So
surprisingly common among females.
yeah. I've got just as many female clients for hair loss as I do with males. Yeah. So I didn't mention ProSol does incredible hair restoration, but that's another thing it does. Yeah. So it's a different file of ingredients that goes into the skin, but same stamping method, far better results than your PRP. Far less painful. It's not painful at all, actually. Relatively quick and very, very successful with hair regrowth.
Well, that's excellent. I was about to ask what excites you about the future of advanced skin by summer. It sounds to me a little bit like hair restoration.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really happy with how things are going. Um, and I don't feel the need to look for a new device or anything. I think what I'm doing is at the top of my game at the moment. And it's working really well for my clients.
And would you tell other clinic owners that it is really beneficial to find a niche? You've become the ProCell ambassador and a ProCell clinic.
Yeah, yeah. Having that niche, uh, it simplifies things for people. Um, when they're looking at a menu and they're not looking at, you know, 30 different treatment options and reading one treatment which can potentially do everything, it's much simpler for people to understand. And I don't have the need to do a myriad of other treatments because ProSol can literally target so many different skin concerns from, lines, sagging skin, sun damage, rosacea, acne, pretty much everything, all by teaching the skin how to heal and repair itself.
It just comes, you are so passionate about ProCell, and I'm sure all of your clients feel that as well.
Yeah,
Can be a little bit, I don't know, disingenuous when you do go into a clinic and there's 5 different skincare brands, for instance, out the
yeah,
front, and they might suggest one too, and you'll be like, oh, what about that one? Oh, yeah,
yeah,
that one's the same, but
yeah,
more expensive, or this one's the same, but our cheaper version, or they're
yeah,
totally different philosophies,
yeah, yeah.
and
So
ingredients. And it's like, well, which one do you actually stand behind and
yeah, yeah.
champion? Which one do you use on your skin?
Yeah, yeah. So there's, I definitely walk the walk, and there's not much to be confused by when you walk into my treatment room. It's pretty much ProCell everywhere,
And everyone walks out glowing.
and everyone walks out a little bit pink and glowing. That
Sorry, that's
happens there.
fantastic. I have absolutely thoroughly enjoyed chatting to you today.
Right. Thank you.
And I can't thank you enough for joining us. I'm definitely coming to Mornington for a ProCell treat
Yes,
with
do come in. I'd love to treat you.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Okay, pleasure.
Summer, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your journey, your insights into regenerative aesthetics and your experience with ProCell. It's been fascinating hearing how you've built Advanced Skin by Summer into a trusted destination for transformational skin outcomes and how treatments like ProCell have supported both client results and business growth. For our listeners, if you'd like to learn more about Summer and Advanced Skin by Summer, we'll include all of her details in the show notes. If you've enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with your network. Thank you for listening to the Aesthetic Business Masters podcast. Until next time, keep pushing boundaries, creating impact, and remember to be brave in business and bold in beauty.